morning, good morning, good morning. Um, didn't want much this morning. Just kind of wanted to just check in with people, see how everybody's doing. You know, I often find time to meditate in the morning and just kind of see how my day is gonna go. And so one of the things that kind of just stuck to my spirit this morning was, um, let's talk about mental health for a second. You know, mental health is almost like COVID 19. A lot of people don't think that is real or that is happening, but mental health is a real thing. And I hear comments or I see comments on social media saying stuff like all of a sudden, you have a lot more people being diagnosed with mental illness or mental health challenges, rather. Um, and, I just want to say that's not true. The truth of the matter is mental health challenges have been there all along. You know, for myself, mental health has always been there from like almost, I don't want to say birth, but I'm gonna say as a child. And the reason I say as a child, as a person of color, as a kid growing up, um, there were some things now that I can sit back and think about that are identifying factors that there was mental health building, mental health challenge building, right? And so I don't want to offend anybody, but I can only speak to my own story. And so my story is going to sound like this, and it's not another Black Lives Matter video, so calm down. Um, my story is going to sound like this. Being a person of color, being a child of color, growing up in a single home family, um, no parent at home family, being raised by an aunt and an uncle, um, those are like trauma, emotional trauma, like off the kid. And then you grow up and not grow up, but you go out into the neighborhood and you start interacting with other children of color, and then you start noticing some of the differences. Some of the differences, like, hey, you're light skinned and have natural curly hair. I'm dark skinned and I have real kinky hair, right? Which is my hair is still kinky. It hasn't changed in 49 years of living. But as a kid, we call it bagging or roasting on each other or scoring on each other, where we would just purposely uh, point out each other's flaws, point out each other's defects, and it even got to a point to where we even talked about each other's parents, aunts, uncles, grandmothers, uh, defects and whatnot, and the other kids, of course, they laughed about it. But when I sit back and I think about it right now, you know, those were like the beginnings for me and my mental health challenges. Another thing growing up as a child of color is, you know, um, not being black enough because you know how to read, or because you live in a certain neighborhood, you're considered less fortunate, or ghetto is the new word that everybody likes to use. I don't know what ghetto is, but you know, I have a pretty decent intellect. I actually like school. I actually like learning growing up, but living in a low income neighborhood, it was frowned upon to be educated, right? And so I was often told that I wasn't black. And then you go to a different arena, you go to school, and you are placed in classes, you are placed in advanced classes, I guess we'll say, and you struggle with those classes, and then you're not smart enough, right? And so growing up all my life, I just was always told that I wasn't good enough, and so that took a toll on my psyche. And growing up in the African American culture, mental health is frowned upon. It's not shared about. It's not talked about. It was only one diagnosis, and that was crazy. And nobody wanted their child, their loved ones, their aunts, their uncles, or anyone to be considered crazy. So we never talked about it. We never talked about the trauma. I can remember having counseling as early as the age of, I'll say 9, you know, because I felt like I got good grades in school, and that didn't get enough attention at home. And I wanted to fit in with my friends at school, and so I was like the class clown. And so I stayed on parent-teacher conferences and things of that nature. And all the teachers always say the same thing. He has so much potential. And I never really understood what that meant, but I knew I wanted attention. I knew I wanted to fit in. And so at an early age, I learned how to manipulate myself into fitting any other crowd. I often call myself a social chameleon, right? And that's a true statement for me. I'm gifted enough to be able to hold a conversation on any level with anybody at any time. And that's my gift from God. That's why I enjoy helping people, because I can get with them on any level. That's why I like peer support, because it doesn't make me a clinician where I'm better than everybody. It just makes me equal. All my life, I've always tried to be equal, you know. And so, back to the counseling. I'm sorry, I got distracted. So counseling helped for a little while, but my my aunt that raised me pretty much just told me, hey, look, we're not gonna go in here, and you're not gonna discuss none of this with this lady. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know where she's right now on that pad and who she might report it to. And it wasn't like any abuse or anything was going on. Not any physical abuse, but the emotional abuse. Oh man, it was killing me. It was killing me. I don't come from a very affectionate home. I didn't grow up. We all, hey, I love you. You know, love was considered material items. I got the best of everything growing up. So I can't complain about that. But what I really wanted was some love, and I wanted some affection, and I just wanted to be a part of. I wanted some friends, right? And so I just started acting out. You know, what I will say is this: mental health is a real thing. Either it's diagnosed or it's undiagnosed. The courage goes the courage goes to the ones that are willing to ask for help, for the ones that are willing to take that chance and not fit into society's norms, right? You know, society will convince you that you don't have any mental health challenges, or you're just having a bad day. No, I'm having more than I'm having more than a bad day. I'm having a moment here, right? And you guys don't understand, so I have to reach out to the professionals that may possibly um, understand what I'm going through. And so, when I say a professional, I don't always mean medication. Medication is not always the key. Um, Medication may be needed to get you back balanced, but no one says it's a life sentence where you have to take medication for the rest of your life. And so, that being said, I don't want to start rambling. I just wanted to share a few thoughts on my standpoint on mental health. Um, so before I leave you, I just want you to know that today, at 49 years of living, I'm not worried about um, stigmas and what people may think. And so I'm in the middle black today. I'm not worried about being black enough, and I'm not worried about being easily intimidated by other people and their intellect. So you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and remember, I love you, God love you, try loving yourself.